What are these? And why would I want them in my Tesla? I'm Frugal Tesla Guy, and I'm going to help you decide whether or not these are right for you. While I was roaming around at the 2022 Tesla Owners California Takeover in San Luis Obispo, I was approached by the CEO of Enhance Automotive and one of the developers of the sexy buttons that you see here. Now at this point, they've been around for quite a while and most people have already heard about them. Google it and you'll find countless reviews on YouTube. So this will be another perspective to help you decide whether or not these are right for you. Now for me personally, it does help to understand the people behind the company. And I had a chance to sit down with one of the developers and asked him what the motivation was behind these buttons.
Yeah, so basically we started 2 years ago. The idea was to make a button for the glove box because, you know, in order to open the glove box, you need at least 3 steps. You open the menu, you open the glove box, and then you close the menu.
Yes.
And it's very inconvenient if you want to look at the maps at this time. So we started with the glove box button. We did it pretty quick for, let's say, 2 or 3 months. But something was missing, it was not enough. And we saw that we can do even more functions. So we started adding features like fold mirrors, hazard lights on, like open trunk, different functions. And that's how we became with the product that are multiple buttons that you can configure. And then we were thinking about the name. And you know the name, sexy, it's from Elon, it's not from us, but so we trademarked that, so it's okay to use it. But it's good because we are adding more features and we add more support for different vehicles. We started with 3 and 2i, and now we are adding support for S and X.
And you designed this from the ground up. I mean, you're the developer, the engineer, all that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We did everything in Bulgaria, from the hardware, software, also the engineering, the mechanics, and the molding of the buttons. So everything is done in-house.
And much like that of your Tesla, they're always looking for ways to improve your experience and are adding to the list of features on a regular basis. So now let's get to the good stuff. Open up the box, set everything up, and see how these work. So the box that they sent me comes with a total of 6 buttons. Of course, they come in different packages here as far as how many buttons and how much money you want to spend. But this comes with the 6, and they also gave me this adapter. Now, these adapters are important because they do hook up to your car, and they changed it up midstream there with the Tesla Model 3 in particular, and depends on which year you have, you may need a special adapter to make this work. This is not a big deal. It can be done. I've had it done several times in my car. All right, so let's go ahead and open this up, and let's see what we got here. This is the first time I've opened this up, never used these before. So nice packaging. You'd think I've never opened up a box before. All right. Okay, so kind of neat. They got this little pull tab here. You open it up, and yeah, nice little presentation here. And these come in different colors from what I understand. You've also got the white. These have the white accent here on the outside, or the black. Now, the white accent would probably be really good for people with white interior. So let's go ahead and open this up. And yep, and then we have, kind of has an Apple feel to it, right? So they have the original adapter. Now this is the adapter that goes to the newer models. This is the adapter I'm going to need. So this one I can just kind of put aside and use this one instead. So they do set you up with an adapter, but again, you've got to make sure that when you're ordering these, you tell them what year of model that you have. So yeah, I'll put that one aside and use this one for my car. This is what you're going to use to kind of need to pry open that part below on the center console there in the back, which we'll see here in a second. And oh, this here is the brains of the operation, right? So this right here is what you hook up to your OBD adapter. It kind of gives you a splitter, and then you hook this up, and then this all connects to the app, and then you'll be able to perform different functions like these buttons are supposed to do. So let's go out to the car and see how everything sets up. We're now in the back seat. We're looking at the bottom of the center console between the 2 front seats. This right here is the seam that's going to give you access to get that bottom panel off. So this is where this tool comes in handy. there are a total of 5 clips. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 2 at the bottom, 3 on the top. So I just kind of start right about here, and you can just kind of slide it around, and you want to get to one of the edges here, and that's where you can pry it open, and that's the first one. Once you get that first one pried open, you can very easily get the center one, then also this top, and then of course the 2 bottoms will come out pretty easily once that's done. So again, you can see here at the top, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 at the bottom right there. So we'll set this aside. Now this, as you can see, is attached, but very easy. All you have to do is slide this to the left, at least this is how mine works, and then it comes out. Now there is right here, there is a push button to get that to unclip. So we'll go ahead and push that button in, and very easily you see how it unclips. So this is where this comes in handy. This is what they give you in the kit right here. So what you're going to do is just basically giving you a splitter. So it's going to work like this, and then this is where you're going to plug the brains of the operation in. So let's start by plugging this side here. You hear that click. You go to this side. You hear that nice click. Now you can, if you want, you can, reattach that if you want, and then try to tuck that under here. That should work out pretty good. I mean, you're obviously going to have to kind of stuff this all in here so you can put that back panel back on. But we're going to get to that a little bit later, and we're going to go ahead and plug this. This is, of course, that brains of the operation I was telling you about here. And that is what plugs in, and you should see it all power on. You see how it's blinking blue, you've got the green, looks like it's looking for communication, and the red dot here. We're going to figure out what all of these mean and get to the app and start getting some of these buttons programmed. So my gut instinct at first is to take all of this, including the commander, and stuffing it all in here somehow, and then putting this back panel on. But that's going to require you to probably bend these wires a lot, and you don't want to damage these wires. So what they recommend, and really is probably the best thing to do, is to take this and put this clip back on here, by the way. It just slides right back on very easily. You see how it's clipped back in there. And then you take this bottom piece here, and there's kind of a convenient little slot in there to put it. So you just kind of stuff it right in there. That's not a problem. And then you just leave this out here. Now another reason you want to leave this out so you don't damage the wires, but another reason is you want to have access to this. You want to be able to see it if you need to. And also there is a reset button right here. So you want to be able to have easy access to it. So rather than having to take this off and then get access to this, put it back on, you have easy access to this. So this would be the best way. So remember, when you're putting this all on, you've got the top 3 clips and the 2 bottom clips. And I like to start at the bottom, and you kind of have to push it in on each side here a little bit. So you kind of start at the bottom here, and I like to actually have this over here and then that way this wire is in a good spot here for it. So we go over here on the bottom, and then I hold those in place while I push the tops in. Sometimes you just have to find them. And sometimes it just doesn't want to clip in there perfectly. There we go. Everything's in there perfectly. Now, this is in a good spot where I can just take it and it will just tuck right in here perfectly. And really, to avoid any feet touching this wire or getting to the wire, you want to tuck it back as far as you can, and there you have it. And then whenever you need access to it, you can just pull it right on out here, boom, and there it is. So, and not that big of a deal having it down there, but that's going to be really your best solution on where to store this. Once I connected all of the buttons and assigned their functions, I had to figure out where to put them. Now, it only made sense to put the glove box button on the glove box itself. For autopilot, I put it on the back of the steering wheel on the right side. To open the charge port door, on the driver's side seat near the controls, and the other 3 buttons on the armrests where they can't be seen. Now, these open the trunk, the front, and fold and unfold the mirrors. Now, right off the bat, I was thoroughly impressed with the overall performance of the buttons. Although there is a slight delay, it's not nearly enough to be a deal breaker in my opinion. Take a look at the comparison between using the touchscreen and the button. When using the touchscreen, it's instantaneous, but the process itself to open the glove box is technically slower because you need to open the menu and then tap the glove box icon, as opposed to just one quick press of the button. The same goes for the front, trunk, and the side mirrors. However, the delay is pretty much negligible as far as I'm concerned. I'm also impressed with the attention to detail. You may notice an LED light flashes after you press the button. Now, this is to obviously confirm that you've pressed the button and it's sent the command. Now, for many functions, that's its only purpose, but take the charge port door, for example. When you open it, the light stays on until you either close it or it closes itself. It will also turn off once you plug into the car. Now, when you unplug the car, the light turns on again until the port door closes. This may seem like something small, but tells me that the developers took this project seriously. I also like the fact that you can put these buttons wherever you want. Now, honestly, I don't know how I feel about the button on the glove box, and if I decide later that I don't want it there, all I have to do is take it off and stick it somewhere else. Plus, according to the developers, the adhesive can be used multiple times and can be wiped down with a wet wipe to make it more sticky. Now, if I find I'm never using a button, I can always change the function to something else. And once you have the button connected to the commander under your center console, you can change the function anytime you wish. And after about 1.5 years or so, depending on how often you use it, you can replace the dead battery with a new one. And it uses a standard coin cell battery, CR2032, that you can pick up at almost any hardware or drugstore. I actually took it apart myself and it wasn't very difficult. they have also taken several steps beyond the buttons themselves. Since the commander is connected to the OBD2 port, they have developed a pretty cool dashboard in the app that allows you to see real-time data like the speedometer, power consumption and regen, left and right blinkers. The list goes on. And although this may not appeal to everyone, it's still a pretty cool feature nonetheless. And on that note, you can dig even deeper by connecting to third-party apps like Scan My Tesla, Teslax, and Android's CanDash. They have also included smart features like pressing the driver's side door handle halfway and letting go, which will then open the frunk for you. Now the only problem with that is I have self-presenting door handles, so the frunk will open every time the handles present themselves. So it's a good thing you can toggle this feature off if you don't need it. So as you can see, there is a lot more to the sexy buttons than meets the eye. As with any review, I always try to point out the good and the bad. And quite honestly, I can't find anything I don't like. But if I had to force myself to pick something, it would be the simple fact that they're buttons. What I mean by that is I very quickly embraced the minimalistic design of the Tesla Model 3. And to me, the physical buttons don't fit with the overall feel of the car. But as you saw what I did, I was able to put the majority of the buttons out of plain sight. However, that being said, there are a lot of people out there who like the look of the buttons, so it just depends on your personal taste. Now here's where I think it will be a deal breaker for a lot of people. And as much as I hate to say it, it's the price. These don't come cheap. The kit starts at $239, which includes 2 buttons. Add 2 more buttons for $60, and it comes out to $299. And for 6 buttons, it will set you back $359. For me, that's a little steep. And before I review these buttons, I probably wouldn't have considered it. But now that I've had the opportunity to see the buttons in action, along with everything else that comes along with it, like the app, the dashboard, the smart features, if this is something you're really interested in, I'd say it's worth it. If you're on the fence and don't feel the need to add buttons to your Tesla, then of course it's not worth it. Now if this is a stretch for you financially, then I suggest you start with the kit with 2 buttons and buy more down the road. This will allow you to stretch the payments out as long as you need, and you don't pay any more in the end. Now can you trust a guy who got the kit for free? Well, if you've watched any of my other reviews on this channel, then you know I'm as transparent and honest as I can possibly be about any product. Now, the last thing I want you to do is buy something that is complete junk. And I can assure you, this is not junk. And in the time that I've had this kit, from the installation to the day-to-day use, I've had 0 problems with it. And I'm excited to see what other functions they will make available in the future. They even take suggestions on their website. Well, that's going to do it for this video. I highly recommend you visit their website and check out the list of everything the buttons can control and to learn more about everything they have to offer, since I probably didn't cover every last detail. Well, thank you all so much for watching, and you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and stay positively charged.